is brought to you by Vision Express.
NBC's Wednesday primetime lineup comes into focus with Vision Express. Fast, fashionable, focused.
KUAM TV8, first on Guam. KUAM TV8, home of the Milan Cortina Olympics. Coverage begins February 6th, 2026. KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adai Itano program. Apply at matson.com and McDonald's of Guam. I'm loving it.
On KUAM News Primetime.
100 Guam Memorial Hospital employees gathered at the Guam Congress building this morning only to watch lawmakers adjourn without a single debate on critical hospital funding. I'm Nevaeh Anderson with more from the 10-minute session next.
3 Guam Department of Education teachers are finalists for a presidential award for STEM educators. We kick off the series with one teacher from Benavente Middle School.
And we'll show you a new development project at the mighty Cliff Line that's going to be a boom for local business.
Hafa and good evening. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. I'm Destiny Cruz-Lingus. Thanks for ending your day with us. 10 minutes. That's all it took for lawmakers to close out a highly anticipated special session this morning. As Nevaeh Anderson explains, nearly 100 Guam Memorial Hospital employees and their administrator watched from outside the session hall, only to be forced to leave without answers on critical funding yet again. After a week-long recess, the special legislative session came to a close, wrapping up in just 10 minutes with nearly 100 Guam Memorial Hospital employees watching just outside the session hall. There they waited to hear whether Governor Luliang Guerrero's budget proposals would go through to provide much-needed support for Guam's only public hospital. But there was no debate, just a single speaker. Senator Christopher Duenas outlined objections to the governor's proposal.
Colleagues, for 7 years, the people of Guam have been told the same story. Keep the business privilege tax at 5% and Guam Memorial Hospital we saved. 7 years of record collections. 7 years of record-breaking budgets, $2 billion in federal dollars, and yet GMH is in worse condition today than it was before. Now, in her final year, the governor once again says, keep it at 5%, and this time it will work. Let's be honest, it hasn't worked in 7 years, and it will not work now.
He went on to call the governor's proposal, quote, disingenuous, claiming the administration is burying sweeping policy changes in the budget bill without public hearings, including a new police headquarters and a sports field without funding sources, major changes to how the Guam Department of Education handles $270 million in funds, and raising procurement thresholds for the Attorney General from $500,000 to $5 million.
These are not technical fixes, my colleagues and Mr. Speaker. And while I support some of these proposals, these are sweeping policy changes crammed into a budget with no public input.
Some tried to intervene.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Removed, added or removed.
What's your point of order, sir?
There's no time on the clock?
There is no time on the clock. Thank you very much. Proceed.
I don't know what this debate and discussion is, but I just ask that the body as a whole be allowed to debate and discuss this bill. If there are sections of it that some of my colleagues disagree with, then we can easily strike those sections out of the bill. But we have the employees of the Guam Memorial Hospital here, Mr. Speaker, and they're watching the session very closely. They're watching what we do, and they're watching how we prioritize.
But their calls were ultimately shut down by Speaker Frank Bloss Jr., and the session adjourned without allowing further debate.
Why we're here this morning, Mr. Speaker. But my point of order is that we be allowed to proceed and discuss and debate the bill.
Give the gentleman time enough to be able. Thank you.
In a statement released within the hour, Governor Luliang Guerrero said, quote, instead of working with me today to keep GMH's doors open and invest in the care of our families in need, the Republican majority chose the wealthiest few over the rest of Guam. That is not leadership, that is abandonment. For GMH Administrator Lillian Posadas, the abrupt adjournment was both shocking and disappointing.
Senator Duenas' statement right at the outset was just, we're going to just reject and adjourn. And, we were all kind of shocked. The employees were like, that's it? You know, it's like they were shocked and disappointed, and we were disappointed, but we're not going to lose hope.
She stressed the hospital's urgent needs.
We've already had electrical fires. What are we going to wait for? To have a big fire, an explosion, and you know, we're risking the patient's lives and the lives of the employees with that. And so that's why we're pushing for the emergent infusion of funds, which the legislature have that authority and that power.
And seeing her staff show up in numbers at the Guam Congress building on behalf of the hospital just to be disappointed by the swift adjournment was, quote, overwhelming.
It was overwhelming, and it was very heartwarming to see the show of the employees, because they are the heart and soul of this hospital. You know, they're there despite the limitations and the limited supplies and how old the hospital is. They're there. They provide the patient care. They provide the service.
For Palisades, even if they reached the same outcome in the end, opening up the floor to real debate would have been, quote, a big win.
I know Senator Duenas, were looking at the whole bill in itself, but you know, we're asking for at least discuss, debate the part that applies to the hospital, and they can make that amendment, and then they can reject everything else.
Not long after the adjournment, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero called lawmakers back to the People's House yet again, issuing a letter for a third special session this afternoon, this time with a narrowly focused measure. She wrote, quote, I now bring forth a focused bill with a singular purpose, to appropriate $40 million directly for the pressing needs of GMH. The legislature reconvened at 4 p.m. today. Nevaeh Anderson, KUAM News.
And we'll have more on this special session as it unfolds on the stations of KUAM and right here on Primetime. A murder case tied to one of Guam's most disturbing crimes has been dismissed, at least for now. Manny Sablan Murciano Jr., accused of killing and dismembering Stevie Alvarez Villanueva in 2022, walked out of court today after Superior Court Judge Maria Senzon granted prosecutors' request to dismiss the case without prejudice. Prosecutors told the court they cannot proceed without key witnesses. One has died and 2 others have left the island and cannot be found. That leaves them unable to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. Murciano had asserted his right to a speedy trial, and with the clock set to run out later this month. Prosecutors said they could not compel the witness to return by then. Judge Senzon acknowledged the severity of the charges, but ordered Murciano's release. Because the dismissal is without prejudice, prosecutors can refile the case at any time in the future, as there is no statute of limitations on the charge of murder. Murciano's defense did not object. For now, the case is formally closed. A Superior Court judge is pushing to move forward in one of Guam's most disturbing murder cases. Judge Alberto Tolentino says it's, quote, outrageous that Donovan Allen Chargaloff Orlenes has remained in custody for nearly 4 years without a clear path to trial or treatment. Ornelas rather is accused of beheading his uncle, 61-year-old Andrew Ray Castro in Santa Rita Sumay back in January 2021. Court documents show Ornelas admitted to police that he smoked meth and used a knife to kill his uncle, saying he believed Castro had endangered their family. But the case has been stalled by conflicting psychiatric evaluations. One found him fit to stand trial, while another diagnosed severe delusions and religious hallucinations. In 2024, Tolentino ruled Ornelas incompetent to stand trial, yet no hearing has determined whether he could be restored to competency or sent for civil commitment. On Tuesday, both sides agreed an updated evaluation is needed. Ornelas told the court he has not received psychiatric treatment and fears for his safety. Tolentino ordered the parties to file for a new evaluation through Guam Behavioral Health and set a status hearing for December 11th. He reminded everyone the victims' families are still waiting for justice. And in other news, after weeks of uncertainty over shipping disruptions, residents in Guam and the Northern Mariana Islands are being reassured that mail and packages will continue to move. The United States Postal Service confirms that mail sent from Guam and the CNMI to the 50 states will be accepted, transported, and delivered. USPS says it has partnered with a third party qualified by Customs and Border Protection to ensure duties are paid under the recent de minimis executive order. USPS Strategic Communications Specialist John Hyatt adds that shipments sent from the 50 states, Puerto Rico, and Washington, D.C. to U.S. territories remain unchanged. At the same time, federal agencies report that operational adjustments are underway to restore outbound shipments, with Customs and Border Protection finalizing logistics and enforcement protocols. Local leaders, including Congressman James Moylan, say they will continue to monitor the situation and push for equitable long-term service. The Democratic Party of Guam is calling on Republican leaders to publicly reject President Donald Trump's latest comments downplaying intimate partner violence. Speaking at the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. on September 8, Trump suggested domestic violence incidents like, quote, a little fight with the wife should not be counted in crime statistics. He claimed that if, quote, lesser things were removed, crime would be nearly eliminated in the capital. Democrats say those remarks are dangerous, sending a message that domestic violence is minor rather than a serious crime that claims lives and damages families. Party Chair Mayor Anthony Chargoloff said as a father and husband, he believes it's everyone's duty to protect women and children, not make light of potential abuse. Vice Chair Ricky Orsini added that when a president speaks, young and old listen, and no one should think domestic violence is a minor issue. The Democrats are urging Guam Republicans to condemn the president's remarks, reaffirm that domestic violence is a serious crime, and support policies that protect survivors. For anyone in need of help, local hotlines include the Vero Crisis Center Incorporated and Hope and Healing Guam. If you or someone you know is in immediate danger, call 911 or 988. In other news, 3 Guam Department of Education teachers have been named state finalists for the nation's highest honor in K-12 STEM teaching. The 2020-2025 Presidential Awards for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching. Representing the island are Colette Beausoleil of John F. Kennedy High, Elaine Cortez of Simon Sanchez High School, and Mike Villaverde of Vicente S.A. Benavente Middle School. Tonight we begin our series with Mr. Villaverde, who reflects on how this recognition brings his journey as an educator full circle.
Mark Villaverde has been teaching for 12 years, spending the last 4 at Vicente S.A. Benavente Middle School, where he teaches ESL and mathematics. But these halls hold a deeper meaning for him. They're the very same ones he walked as a student, where his own dream of becoming a teacher first began.
Mrs. Pasqua was my math teacher, and I would say that I was the kind of student who kind of took things for granted a little bit. But when Mrs. Pasqua showed me how much she cared for me and how much she, really cared about, my education and how I was going to grow up to become, I wanted to do the same for others as well, even if it's just one student.
And now Villaverde is doing just that and so much more by inspiring countless students to be the best they can be.
It's amazing to see just a lot of my students excelling that way. And it just feels so good to give back in that sense and to see all of these kids grow, because that's all they are. They're just potential, and I'm just there to help them reach their potential.
That passion and dedication have led Villaverde to become one of 3 Guam Department of Education STEM teachers named as finalists for the 2025 Presidential Awards in Mathematics and Science Teaching, the nation's highest honor for K-12 STEM educators. This is his 2nd nomination, the first coming while he was teaching at John F. Kennedy High School, his alma mater, where he also spent 8 years in the classroom.
For me, it's really a culmination of all of the efforts of all the teachers that have affected my life.
Teachers like Mrs. Pasqua helping shape his outlook on mathematics, a subject he works hard to make fun, interactive, and approachable for his students.
How I see math, and I see math as such a fun and interesting subject. For me, I've always loved numbers, but I always loved seeing how numbers would be applied in real life. A lot of students say math is hard because that's all they hear. But the way that I approach it in my class is like, we'll try to make it fun. We'll try to make it as simple as possible for you to understand, for anyone to understand. And so I like trying to make it really fun, interactive for them. I use a lot of manipulatives, meaning that I give them a lot of blocks, I give them counters, I give them the number line, and I just give them a lot of things because I want them to actually see what the numbers look like, what they're actually doing. And so I want to really make it fun, concrete for them, and to, I understand that it's challenging, and I tell them that it is challenging, that they do have to put effort into it, but it shouldn't be something that's too daunting.
And one of his most rewarding moments coming when a former ESL student reached back out with gratitude.
Their struggle in school is to try to integrate, going into our classes, in our school system. And so one of the most recent successes that I've had was a Filipino student. She was just fresh from the Philippines, and she was just so scared, like a little hesitant in, doing well in her classes because she didn't know what to expect. But with all the things that I tried to do to help her, by the time she became a freshman at JFK, she messaged us back saying, she just wanted to thank all of her ESL teachers, and especially she kind of noted me in particular, and all of the team, the admin, the faculty. We're all working hard here.
And as a finalist, Villaverde shares a message of encouragement with his fellow nominees, one a former classmate and the other his former teacher.
I'm the best.
To his wife, Marilyn Villaverde, who teaches at KUAM Guerrero.
All right, we're going to take another look at Island Business Matters now, as an aspect that's expected to be booming is real estate development. Anticipating the ample work in both the coming future in high-end residences and the construction to make them a reality, Central Guam is now home to a new development project that started over 10 years ago.
A great chef sees raw materials and smiles. A painter looks past the quiet of a blank canvas. A teacher comes upon an empty chair and sees an environment for growth. Being able to see the potential in what's not there yet, to create opportunity and to pass that value on to others is a hallmark of leading business people. And believing in the possibilities of a previously undeveloped patch of land heading through Tidzin gave rise to the Palisades, a new housing development project on the mighty cliffline.
It is with utmost enthusiasm that I welcome you to this launch event for the Palisades, a celebration of vision, dedication, and the transformation of one of Guam's most centrally located cliffline properties into a private, thriving community. I'm excited to be here among all of you, especially the realtors. I know that I could receive a master class in selling, so I will not try to pitch you the property, but please indulge me as I share some history.
Tasi Vista Development has overseen the clearing of the land, revealing the breathtaking view of downtown and installation of infrastructure in preparation for families looking to build or for investors moving towards a high-value addition to their portfolio high above sea level.
First, this project started probably over 10 years ago. My father, Champ Calvo, who unfortunately is off island at the time, contacted the Dueñas family, and I'd like to acknowledge them. They're here today. Together, they planned a great joint venture that started this project. Thereafter, there was a series of strategic acquisitions with the Israel family to slowly build the portfolio that will eventually become the Palisades. The next endeavor was to relocate the Navy easement that was previously located within this property. My predecessor, Jay Lather, wanted to establish this community without the power poles in place so that you could enjoy the unobstructed views that we see today.
Now, a project of this magnitude, over a decade in the making, is complex, includes a certain amount of risk, involves specialized labor, and takes a long time. So strategic alliances were key in bringing it from concept to working model to business plan.
Basically, this project exemplifies the quality of work and the standard that we wanted to deliver to this community. Every step was guided by rigorous planning, thoughtful engineering, and a commitment to preserving the natural beauty that defines Guam. It is an honor to step into this next phase of the project with all of you to, instead of turning houses into homes, to turn this subdivision into a community. The Palisades is centrally located, offering unparalleled convenience, whether it's commuting to work, attending school events, shopping at local markets, or enjoying local eateries. Residents will be mere minutes from all that Guam has to offer. This accessibility, combined with the privacy and prestige of a gated subdivision, makes the Palisades truly unique.
While there's ample space for tenants and investors to observe and envision, there are also set zones for luxury living.
The goal was to basically take out all the old infrastructure, replace it with new upgraded infrastructure so that all the residents, future residents, would enjoy the amenities that are being offered today. We partnered with Giant Construction Team, and I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Inchil Chung, who the plans and brought them to reality, but just along the way kind of guided us and provided his advice and fixed things where he saw them, where they needed to be fixed, and just really has been a great partner in this project. So we're very grateful, and I thank you again for being here today, and Mrs. Chung as well, who I understand is also very familiar with the property. Post 360 is our lender for this project. We actually reached out to them for the financing during, it was December of 2020, so it was during the pandemic when we really had no idea what the future would look like, but they were kind enough to kind of entertain our proposal, and we worked through everything and eventually got the financing and have been on our way since then.
Consultations are now available through Today's Realty. And so congratulations, NC Dulas Masi, to Tasi Vista Development, to making the venture that you foresaw into a reality.
Finally, I would like to thank my father and acknowledge him, Champ Calvo. He is not here. He is really excited. I've been sending him photos all throughout the day. So he was really the visionary, which, kind of the dreamer that really envisioned all of this when it looks like, the Sakatsi and everything of the thick vegetation on the cliffline. He really saw this happening, and this is part of the master plan. We have the estate lots that we're currently showing for sale. Behind you, there's also a lot reserved for townhome development. On the cliffline, there's a lot for a condo development, and the lot that we're on right now is part of the master plan for a commercial marketplace, which would have a cafe or other amenities that would be available to this community. So thank you all for your time. Thank you all for your interest. I'm very grateful. I'm very excited to celebrate this day with you, so I appreciate all of you being here.
Last week, the Mayor's Council of Guam's monthly meeting was held, and one of the guest speakers was Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association President Mary Rhodes, who offered to provide insight to the mayors. Jonah Gonçalves has more.
Last month, the Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association held its general membership meeting, and invited was a panel of island leaders, such as the Department of Parks and Recreation Director, the Chief of the Guam Police Department, and even Mayor Council of Guam President Jesse Alec. It was here when discussions occurred with Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association President Mary Rhodes.
It's about how the mayors could be involved. One of the things that I was really pushing was equity. Equity in that every village deserves something in tourism recovery, and whether it's whatever it is, but everyone deserves something.
Alec also shared how she was instrumental in working with former mayors to develop their festivals. Rhodes says doing this is something GHRA has been looking to do when it comes to recovery efforts for tourism.
One of the things we noticed in the recovery plan, which has always been actually a mission at GBB and GHRA, is to work with the mayors, because we know tourism affects the whole community, and tourism really should include all of the mayors in every village included in that.
Over 12 years ago, she says she conducted training for the mayors for the Hotel and Restaurant Expo in partnership with the Guam Visitors Bureau.
In order to be eligible for a grant, a community grant at GBB, you had to attend this training. And what that meant was certain monies were set aside from GBB, and this is the goal, is to have certain monies set aside at GBB where you would be able to be part of the Guam Island Fiesta Tour, known as GIFT, as well as the the special events, because back then we only had the Mango Festival.
It was such opportunities that made the Banana Festival in Talafofo and even the Doni Festival in Manila possible. And Rhodes says although there were other villages at the time that tried to make their festivals a reality, it was not sustainable.
It would be really good for us to revisit this, and GHRA is willing to host another workshop. It was really only a 3-hour workshop that I coordinated together with GBB, and again, all the mayors were required in order to apply for the grant funding. They were required to attend this training, and during this training, GHRA will work with you on developing your work plan, developing your timelines, as well as your budget, your P&L, your profit and loss, what it takes to have your contracts for all of your vendors, to understand the rules and regulations, like with revenue tax, public health, requiring certain sanitation permits and things like that. Everything required, even your fire permits for gatherings. We would help you in getting all of that in at least a development stage, so that you can prepare yourself to put together a program so that you can apply for future grants, community grants, not just with GVB, but I also talked to Gita about possible opportunities to fund, especially because one of the things we learned during this process of the recovery, and Mayor Alec was there at our membership meeting, is that it was part of the recovery plan, right, to include the mayors in this and all of the events. And I know that there's been discussion about including community events and the mayors in the hot bond. But in order to prepare you for applying for a grant, whether in GVB's current budget or even with the hot bond, you have to develop a plan.
Rhodes adding, with new mayor and vice mayors, this would be a great workshop for them to take part in.
To make sure that you're all suited to submit these community grants, and we would be your partner to submit in this and work with all the government agencies to make sure you're in compliance. And then to also look at redeveloping the gift program again at GVB and really trying to push for that, for the Island Fiesta Tour, and then developing your own signature events so that you can certainly offer that.
Many of the mayors in attendance look forward to speaking further with GHRA, as several had ideas for the respective villages. Jonah Charfris, KUAM News.
Time for a quick break. You're watching KUAM.
NBC's Wednesday primetime lineup comes into focus. Focused.
KUAM TV8, first on Guam.
It's happened. The gold mine of McDonald's chicken has been struck. Added to your snack wrap and McCrispy and made for dipping. It's special edition gold sauce. It's happened. The gold mine of McDonald's chicken has been struck. Added to your snack wrap and McCrispy and made for dipping. It's special edition gold sauce.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
I grew up on Guam. Sports shaped who I am, but representing our island on the national basketball team taught me the importance of community. After 10 years in Hawaii, working at Bank of Hawaii, I came home to give back and to lead. At Bank of Hawaii, we're passionate about helping everyone in our community create a better life for themselves and their families to reach their possible. I'm Mike Sakazaki, and I can't wait to help you reach yours.
Anything's possible.
Reach your possible with Bank of Hawaii.
GU Self Storage, located in Harmon next to McDonald's, offers a variety of storage units. With rates starting as low as $95 per month, we offer complimentary use of dollies, push carts, Plines hand trucks, and pallet jack, with a fully covered loading and unloading areas and ADA accessible units. We offer 24-hour CCTV surveillance monitoring, alarm, and individual pin-coded gate and door access, because your safety is our priority. GU Self Storage, voted Pica's Best in 2024. Call 671-648-7867 today.
Welcome back to Primetime. ICE operations are ramping up in Chicago just as the Trump administration gets a big victory from the Supreme Court, allowing immigration stops in Los Angeles.
Tonight, the Trump administration stepping up its crackdown on illegal immigration in Chicago. Seen here arresting a man from Mexico, ICE says, was wanted for aggravated sexual assault of a child.
You try and reason with people like in Chicago with the governor and the mayor. You try and reason with them, and it's like you're talking to a wall.
Over the weekend, President Trump posting an AI-generated image of himself with the phrase, "Shipocalypse now." The caption, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning." The president saying he is still considering sending the National Guard there to reduce crime.
We'd love to go into Chicago and straighten it out. We're bringing back law and order to our country.
Over the last 2 weekends, there have been 14 homicides and at least 76 people shot in Chicago, with one alderman telling us National Guard troops would free up police.
I absolutely support the Trump administration bringing in more federal resources. Our city needs as much help as we could possibly get.
But Chicago's Democratic mayor is increasingly pushing back, writing the city just experienced record low homicide numbers, making this the safest summer since the 1960s.
Our communities remain united more than ever against the administration's attempt to unleash the military, National Guard, and rogue ICE agents on our city and state.
Today, in a legal victory for the president, a conservative Supreme Court majority loosened restrictions on ICE operations in L.A. But in her dissent, liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor writing, "We should not have to live in a country where the government can seize anyone who looks Latino, speaks Spanish, and appears to work a low-wage job." Tonight, the White House insisting it does not target people based on race.
It's a multitude of factors to establish reasonable suspicion. But if an illegal alien has an MS-13 tattoo on his head, that's certainly going to be one of the factors that we consider.
Meanwhile, our NBC News poll shows the president's approval rating at just 43%. 57% disapprove.
This is Washington, D.C.'s crime emergency is set to end on Wednesday as Congress is not expected to extend it beyond the 30 days. This comes as Mayor Muriel Bowser is keeping a close eye on a new threat to home rule. This week, the House Oversight Committee is planning to take up 14 proposed bills, all aimed at changing the way the District of Columbia governs itself.
President Trump declared a crime emergency in the district back on August 11th, calling it Liberation Day. What followed was hundreds of arrests made by a surge of federal officers. Today, at an event in Northeast D.C., Mayor Muriel Bowser said she would have more to say about the ending of the crime emergency later this week and emphasized one specific change.
The MPD is not compelled to provide MPD services as directed by the president. That's what changes.
As far as the federal law enforcement surge is concerned, the mayor ordered an indefinite coordination with federal law enforcement, noting in an executive order that violent crime had noticeably decreased.
It's laid out what federal agencies we work with. It's not confusing. So I'm not going to turn this into a re-explainer of my mayor's order. I've done it. I'm not going to do that.
Later this week, the House Oversight Committee will take up 14 bills that could turn home rule upside down. For example, the District of Columbia Cash Bail Reform Act would require cash bail or bail bonds for all defendants charged with certain enumerated public safety and order crimes. Another would repeal D.C.'s Incarceration Reduction Amendment Act of 2016 and the Second Chance Amendment Act of 2022, which allows individuals convicted of serious crimes before they turned 18 to petition the court for a sentence reduction after serving at least 15 years. And a third bill, called the District of Columbia Attorney General Appointment Reform Act, would reform the way the D.C. Attorney General is selected by making the D.C. Attorney General a presidentially appointed position rather than an elected one.
All of them would be an affront to home rule. We believe that our laws affecting the district should be made by the district.
And another bill would reduce the age that the U.S. Attorney could charge a teenager as an adult from 16 years old to 14 years old.
On Monday, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz issued an executive order to protect vaccine access in the state. This all comes in response to the recent change in federal COVID-19 vaccine guidelines put in place by the Trump administration.
In past years, the COVID vaccine has been widely available for anyone 6 months and older. But that's changing under Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Right now, we're dealing with completely different circumstances.
In August, the Food and Drug Administration approved a new round of COVID vaccines, but only for people 65 and older or those 6 months and older with underlying health conditions.
So the calculus is different, and it's complicated.
In an executive order issued Monday, Governor Walz accused RFK Jr. of leading a misinformation campaign. He directed state agencies to work to preserve access to the COVID vaccine and asked state epidemiologist Dr. Ruth Linfield to review guidelines and possibly issue guidance at the state level.
The executive order is really supporting the good works that we've been doing at the Minnesota Department of Health.
Jessica Hancock Allen oversees the Infectious Diseases Division at MDH.
We're exploring if that would be necessary to expand the group of folks that are covered and that could get the COVID-19 vaccine.
CVS and Walgreens tell us the COVID shots remain available at Minnesota locations for eligible groups. But unless you're a senior or have an underlying condition, you can't make an appointment without a prescription.
It introduces more hoops.
Dr. Peter Chen Hong is an infectious disease specialist at the University of California, San Francisco.
We're confused and we're a little bit anxious about the changes. But I think one other way to think about it is the things that are not going to change. And those 65 and older will get the vaccine.
Don Searles is going to a party and doesn't want to show up empty-handed.
That's done. In goes peanuts.
So he's making peanut brittle using an old family recipe with a modern-day twist.
But now you got a new ingredient.
Yeah, we added the marijuana. Yeah.
The party Don's attending is an old-school pot party. Although this one has a new wrinkle. It's at the Trilogy Retirement Community, an hour east of San Francisco, where lately the golf course has a new competitor for popularity.
This is the old style of rolling a joint.
Cannabis. Gail Crawley, the host of the party, is 74 and not at all surprised by some new numbers. Between 2021 and 2023, cannabis use among Americans 65 and older went up 46%.
Does that surprise you at all?
No.
Why not?
Because cannabis is a good solution to a lot of medicinal issues.
And with cannabis now legal in 40 states for medical use and 24 for recreational, the stigma is gone.
I've never smoked a cigarette, a joint.
When it comes to his cannabis, Stephen Clark is strictly an edibles guy.
You're a cannabis guy. What is it about cannabis that you're drawn to?
That it does work on PTSD, pain issues, relaxation issues, brain disorders, heart disease.
That's his experience, but some medical professionals think differently.
If they are smoking marijuana, we can be pretty confident that they're harming their cardiovascular system.
Professor Matt Springer at UC San Francisco has a warning. The active ingredient in marijuana may carry health risks no matter how seniors get it. Smoking it, gummies, even peanut brittle.
For people who get their THC through edibles, what does your study suggest?
It suggests that they might be having an adverse, a harmful effect on their cardiovascular system. If they're eating THC, they're not without risk.
But don't talk to Don Searles about risk. 5 years after a motorcycle accident left him with chronic pain. He needs something.
So there's a new study out. It shows a connection between cannabis use and cardiovascular disease.
It doesn't surprise me. I go to my doctor and he says, geez, quit drinking milk. Stay away from the sugar. You know, what isn't bad for you nowadays?
But despite the warnings, these seniors are happy just the way they are, high and retiring. For Eye on America, I'm Jim Axelrod in Rio Vista, California.
Well, as we approach 24 years since the attacks of 9/11, New Yorkers who were there that day will remember. There was a clear, bright blue sky that morning, a hint of fall in the air, in sharp contrast to the events that would soon unfold and change our world forever. Andrew Siff visited the 9/11 Memorial Museum to reflect on that morning with art installation that will impact anyone who experienced the beauty before the terror of that morning.
Nearly 3,000 tiles. Each one a different shade of blue.
One of those colors is exactly the way that everybody remembers it.
Beth Hillman is president and CEO of the 9/11 Memorial and Museum. We're inside the main hall, an exhibit that even today, nearly 24 years after New York's darkest day, tears flow at an exhibit called Remember the Sky. The simple concept, artist Spencer Finch's installation conjuring that powerful blue sky as first responders saved thousands. The project also an echo of those who lost their lives, with a modern way to pay tribute this week.
Take a picture of the sky that day and post it to #RememberTheSky. And the reason that makes sense is because that September 11th in 2001 was a spectacular, beautiful day. The color of the sky is something many people remember that day. And when Spencer Finch decided to make this piece, he created this art with a different color of blue for every person who was killed by terrorists that day.
One of the lives lost, Fire Captain Terry Hatton. That's who retired firefighter Tim Brown is thinking about this anniversary. Brown was on command assignment in the lobby of several World Trade Center buildings, but still thinks about what more he could have done.
You went from 7
to 1 to 2.
Did you go up?
If I had heard my best friend, Captain Terry Hatton, yelling Mayday in the radio, I would have gone up. He was my best friend.
Right.
But it was my job to stay in the lobby, and I did not hear him screaming for help.
The Remember the Sky exhibit also contains a famous quote from the poet Virgil.
No day shall erase you from the memory of time.
Each letter on that blue wall forged from the original steel at the World Trade Center.
Now for a look at your world at home. Here's a view of Maurizo Pier.
Go left. Better? Go right. How about now? Still nothing. Uh-oh.
Tired of unreliable satellite internet? Switch to GTA Air Fiber. Faster and more affordable than Starlink. Get blazing speeds up to 500 Mbps for just $70 a month with no equipment to buy, free professional installation, and Plume Home Pass Wi-Fi included. Built for Guam, backed by award-winning local support. GTA Air Fiber. Ditch the dish and make the switch.
Get ready, Guam. Kmart's turning the big 3-0, and this anniversary celebration is bigger than ever. Free prizes, big raffles, hot deals, oh, the party's everywhere at Kmart. From pantry staples to daily essentials, save big with new low prices. And with surprises popping up throughout the store, there's always something to make you say, oh! Kmart Guam, celebrating 30 years with savings, surprises, and fun for everyone. Oh, it's on, Guam.
Parents, would you like your child to be well prepared for school? The Guam Early Learning Council believes in building a supportive community to help your child be successful in school and in life. If you would like resources and information to see if your child is reaching key stages of growth for school, call 311 Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. excluding holidays. We are here to assist.
I'm going to school. I'm going to learn and play. That's so cool.
I thought you worked in his house.
Oh, I'm wherever he needs to fuel up. Oh, Cantina chicken burrito.
Thanks, Todd.
That's the way to do it.
You know what? Let me actually get something to wash that down with, please.
I got you.
Easy. Appreciate it.
You've made a powerful enemy, Todd.
I didn't mean to.
NBC's Wednesday primetime lineup comes into focus with Vision Express. Fast, fashionable, focused.
KUAM TV8, first on Guam.
Wesley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby! Wesley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby!
If the Father Duenas Friars keep up their dominant sports performance this year, they're going to need another Phoenix Center just to hold all their trophies. FD won an amazing 8 interscholastic titles last year, and this season, the Friars are continuing to add to their history and legacy as football and wrestling each chase what could be those sports' 10th straight championships. In addition, volleyball could win it all for the 8th straight season, and rugby is looking for 6 in a row, and in basketball, this year's seniors attempt to conclude their careers never not having lost the island-wide title. And there's equally strong traditions to uphold in baseball, golf, tennis, and soccer too. Let's now hear from Athletic Director and proud 94 alum Joshua Paulino on what makes the FD sports machine tick and the pride and brotherhood all Friars carry with them every day of their lives.
Okay, Josh, my dad is FD class of 65. I know you really, really love your school. As a fan of Guam sports, I can't remember ever a time when one school was this dominant and that had this many championships and everything like that. This is unprecedented in Guam history.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we're very proud of. We're very proud of our athletics programs, but we do stress to the boys that first and foremost, academics come first. So, I mean, really, our success in sports is really a bonus to that. So we're very proud and happy about that.
And all the coaches here at FD that I ever talk to, they all say, okay, technically the boys have the easy part. They just have to go out and play and do what we tell them to do. It's the parents, it's the faculty, it's the administration, it's this massive support network and everything like that that gives these kids, these young men, the opportunity to be great.
Yeah, which is very true. I work closely with the parents, with the coaches and the parents in a lot of the sports, and really it is the success of our programs. A big contribution is from the parents. The support we get, it's unmatched, and I couldn't ask for a better bunch of parents. I like to tease that, it's like a well-oiled machine. Everybody, when we have new people come in, everybody just know, what to do and what we expect.
Now, it'd be really easy for like every successive class to just graduate and say like, okay, that was us, good luck and everything. But you see Friars come back and give back and and coach and lend their support and come back and scrimmage with the boys and everything like that. So how important is it that the alumni really still have a presence here?
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, here we like to stress the brotherhood, and when a lot of our coaches are alumni, we see, just out of the football field, we have a lot of boys who graduated from 2025 and earlier coming out just to help, encourage and coach the current boys who are going through the same process that they have gone through over the years.
Can you rattle, so since we're in a place of education, here's a pop quiz for you, Mr. Paulino. Can you rattle off the top of your head, just from memory, all the different championships that you'll be chasing this school year?
Oh, well, I like to say we're chasing every sport that we participate in. So that's the goal, is to win a championship in every sport. But I mean, we've had success. Last year we had 8 championships. And so we hope to build on that this year.
Okay, and everybody knows, wrestling, football, rugby, volleyball's got 8 in a row. Golf is also very, very successful. Baseball's been incredibly successful.
Yeah, so golf and baseball, very successful. And, and really we see the fruits of that. We've had several boys who are going to go play college for both baseball and golf this coming school year. Actually just this month. Most of them are starting school now. We have parents leaving to take their boys off. So yeah, it's just...
Ray Blass already went out there, right?
Yeah, so we have Ray, we have quite a number of baseball. We have 3 boys going out for baseball and rugby as well. So, we're very proud of that. And really that's the goal. We want them to move on from here and succeed in college.
Okay, now because this is you guys emphasize a proper Catholic education, we all know that, singing the FD alma mater is awesome and it really rallies the boys together, but is there something from the scripture, that really emphasizes, physical education and, like the teamwork aspect and, playing as hard as you can?
Well, we like to say everything we do for God, right? And so, it doesn't matter, sports, academics, your daily life, everything we do, we do to glorify God.
Your search for unbeatable internet speeds is over. Visit Docomo Pacific today and sign up for as low as $60 a month so you can experience our fast, reliable internet speeds for yourself. Docomo Pacific, better together. Your search for unbeatable internet speeds is over. Visit Docomo Pacific today and sign up for as low as $60 a month so you can experience our fast, reliable internet speeds for yourself. Docomo Pacific, better together.
The new Crafted Flats from Pizza Hut. 5 handcrafted recipes with more toppings, all for you. There's no reason not to get one or try all 5. New Crafted Flats are just $5 each till 5 p.m. and available till close. Only from Pizza Hut.
Win 1 championship, you're celebrated. Win twice, they call you a hero. 3 times, they say words like legend and dynasty. 4, 5, 6 titles, they'll say enough is enough. But when you've won it all 7 times, what's left to say? The trophy speaks for itself. Introducing the full lineup of Ram trucks. Ram, 7-time winner of Motor Trend's Truck of the Year.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
News Bites is brought to you by Docomo Pacific Better Together, Fresco Clothing, original custom design apparel of Guam and the Marianas, and the Guam Army National Guard. Live here, serve here.
Okay, my friends, I know I was talking about bites last night, right? The act of processing, of chowing down. Now, there's a difference between news bites and news nibble, right? We don't want you to just nibble on these things. We don't want you to, kind of like contemplate, right? We want you to actually take a big bite of this, because these are awesome things in our community happening throughout the island, and we want you to get involved. You're going to have fun. If you're a student, you can get service learning. If you're a family, it's going to bring you closer together, right? At any rate, you're going to have the time of your life, and you are going to help serve our island community. So what do we got? Fill the boot. I remember talking about this last night. So our friends on September 11th, right? This is tomorrow. So make sure to head over from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. over at Kmart, right? Centrally located. Hey, if you're one of the JFK kids, you're getting off school that time, go across the street. Tell everybody in GFD, right, the fire department, tell them you appreciate them. Tell them thank you for the service they provide to our island. Tell them they're heroes, right, because they're going to be working hard there too at Kmart. They're going to be filling the boot to do good work for our island community. And shout out to everybody who is in GFD, from the Chiefs all the way down to the rookies, all right? We've done stories on you guys so many times over the years, and we really, really appreciate it. But most importantly, we appreciate what you do for our island, keeping us safe. All right, you guys are awesome. All right, there's a commemorative luncheon I see here. So what luncheon are we commemorating? Of course, 9/11, and our friends over at Jamaican Grill have been doing this for almost 25 years now, right? They have been providing free lunches for our first responders. Absolutely amazing, local and military first responders. Make sure, if you are one of those people, first of all, thank you for your service as on this National Day of Remembrance, of honoring the victims that we lost in September 11th, 2001. So from 10 to 3, you can go there and get some Jamaican Grill's absolutely delicious food. Jamaican Grill, a very, very good corporate partner on Guam. They have always shown that they have the Hafaday spirit, and they practice it now from Malik. Awesome. I got a lot of friends that work there. All right. Annual Research Forum is coming up too. That is from my friends at the University of Guam, and that is from the School of Public and Business Administration. What project are they undertaking this year? Show up and find out. And you know what? You might even be able to participate, because they're doing good work over there. UOG is an academic institution. It's also a research institution. They are diving deep. They're asking tough questions. They are gathering data. They are interpreting. They are pushing the boundaries of what we know. And they're bringing people from all over the region, right? Not just Guam, not just Saipan. They're bringing people from all over here to come, to study together, to ask these kind of questions, and to break new ground. And shout out to everybody over at SPBA, because that is my home right there. Proud graduate right here. UOG, class of 1996. All right. And then we got some fun coming up, because the game of the week, Atlanta is visiting Minnesota. These two cities could not be more opposite, you guys. All right, we got hot Atlanta, and we got really, really cold Minnesota, right? On a good day, it's very, very cold right there. All right, so we got the Falcons traveling up to the land of 1,000 lakes. Hey, J.J. McCarthy just won his first start yesterday, right? You saw that. He won in his hometown, too. He's from Chicago. You know what? He also played at the University of Michigan. He's got a natty. Woohoo! Go Blue. But that is going to be a really good game, so make sure to watch, because we are going to be bringing you every snap, even the national anthem, all the fun stuff, all the pomp and pageantry and circumstance of NFL football. Falcons, Vikings coming up. Skol! I tried that before for all of my Vikings fans. I don't even know if I nailed that and everything, but let me know. You know what I can do really well is birthdays, so now let's mercifully get to that.
And that's right, me. It is time to wish some very special Guamanians a happy birthday. So on the 10th of September, it's a Wednesday this year, so it is precisely the middle of the work week. And let's all say together, all right, do me a favor, clear your throats. Here we go. Happy birthday, Anthony Cruz, and to a fantastic and amazing dad for my grandson. You deserve all the happiness in the world today. Absolutely. May God bless you. You're very, very appreciative, family says. And we have a second birthday celebrant. This is Kayla Diaz Cruz wishing our beautiful granddaughter a happy, blessed birthday, coming from the Diaz and Cruz families. They say, we are so proud of your accomplishments and winning medals in the skip competitions. Yeah, in Canada and California. Skip kids are awesome, and they are dominant. And they're very, very humble, and they represent us well everywhere they compete. And they're incredibly talented. All the dance troops are on Guam. And skip is amazing. You know, they're now 40-some years into their history, and we know there's a tradition there. So both Anthony and Kaylee, we hope you both have absolutely amazing birthdays today. It was good weather today, and we just hope spend time with friends and family and have a wonderful, wonderful birthday on this 10th of September. Want to wish your special someone a happy birthday? Just click the QR code here on your screen or email birthdayclub@KUAM.com.
And that's your Primetime Show. Thanks for watching. I'm Destiny Cruz-Lingus. Have a good evening.
This program lineup is brought to you by Vision Express.